Hello, this is Ayat Kayat and this is CMS TV News at noon. Starting off with some UK news. This morning, both runways were closed at Heathrow Airport after a British Airways plane made an emergency landing. All passengers and crew were safely evacuated from the plane following an engine fault at about 9 a.m. this morning. British Airways said the Heathrow to Oslo service turned back after a technical fault. Witnesses reported seeing flames coming from the engine. The southern runway has reopened. The northern runway remains closed. It was carrying 75 passengers who were safely evacuated, and a full investigation would be conducted into the incident. There was a black smoke trail from the engine of a British Airways Airbus A319. John Coughlin said it was a safe landing and passengers evacuated by chutes on a runway. Ches Stamp, who was on a plane waiting to take off to Jordan, said, "I could see smoke on the right engine. We just saw it come to a halt and fire engines were already there waiting for it, and they immediately started hosing the plane down." Moving on to some Woolwich news. A prayer service for drummer Lee Rigby, the soldier killed by two assailants in southeast London on Wednesday, has taken place in Greater Manchester. The 25-year-old from Middleton had been in the 2nd Battalion Royal Regiment of Fusiliers since 2006. Local MP Jim Dobbin said drummer Rigby's death had absolutely traumatized people on the estate. The Reverend Philip Miller, who led the service, said it had been a chance to support the Rigby family through this difficult time. People who attended the service, which included prayers and readings, lit candles in memory of drummer Rigby. Floral tributes have been left in the garden of the Rigby family's home on the estate where the soldier grew up. And some other news about Richard III. Researchers revealed the remains of King Richard III, which were discovered under a car park, were buried in a hastily dug, untidy grave. They said the bones were placed in an odd position with the torso crammed into the lozenge-shaped grave. The research also found the casual nature of the burial suggested a lack of respect for the king. But the academics said it may have been the work of grave diggers in a hurry. Evidence was also found to show the king may have had his hands tied. It followed a 3-week dig which started last August at the site of the medieval Greyfriars Church, now a council car park. There were no signs of a shroud or a coffin in Richard III's grave, in stark contrast to other medieval graves found in Leicester, which were the correct length and were dug neatly with vertical sides. They concluded that Richard III was buried without any pomp or solemn funeral. And moving on to some U.S. news. A bridge collapsed in Washington state. It laid collapse in the waters of a Washington state river late on Thursday. 3 people were plunged with their vehicles, a truck and an SUV, into the Skagit River, along with the truss structure have been rescued. It appears that no one had died as all 3 people were rescued. There is no indication that anyone else was in the water. However, a speedboat with the word sheriff beaming in large white letters from its side panned from side to side, showing the divers various perspectives of the half-submerged structure as they prepare to splash into the current. They want to double-check that no one was trapped under the surface. Moving on to some more international news. In Pakistan, a car bomb blast killed 12 people, including 6 police officers. Awais Ahmed, the district police officer for the town of Sibi, said 4 gunmen on 2 motorcycles opened fire at a brothel in the town. He said 4 prostitutes and a taxi driver were killed in the attack. 2 other women were seriously wounded. The second incident, the car bomb blast, took place in the provincial capital of Quetta. No group immediately claimed responsibility for either incident, but suspicion immediately fell on Baloch insurgents operating in the area. Militants in Balochistan, a province rich in natural gas, have been fighting Pakistani military forces for self-rule. For years, they have complained that the government has paid little attention to them and their economic needs. And some news in South Korea. A 5-year-old South Korean girl was killed when a man who jumped from his 11th floor apartment landed on top of her. The incident took place Wednesday in Busan, a port city in the southern part of the country. The girl had left her apartment building with her parents when a 38-year-old tenant made his suicide plunge. The man died on the spot. He apparently was being treated for depression while the girl was taken to the hospital and died of skull fracture. Her parents were unharmed. And moving on to some sports news, Mark Hughes has emerged as a leading contender to replace Tony Pulis as Stoke City manager. Pulis left Stoke on Tuesday after 7 years in charge. Wigan manager Roberto Martinez is another under consideration, but Hughes is the front runner. Talks have not taken place, but progress is expected next week. And finally, onto the weather news. Rain or showers affecting many central, southern, and eastern parts where it will be very windy and feel very cold for this time of year. Further in the north and the west, it is becoming dry and warmer, and the best of the sunshine is in West Scotland. Thank you for watching. This is Ayat Kayat, and this is CMS TV News. Next is Ragad Bazizi with the business news.
Hi, I'm Ragad Bazizi with the business news for CMS TV. In today's headlines, Herpert Stepik offers to resign from Raiffeisen Bank International. Nissan plans to recall cars due to faulty steering wheels. Manchester United arrange a new deal to cut their debt. And the President of the European Central Bank spots encouraging signs in the UK economy. Herbert Stepik has offered to resign from Raiffeisen Bank International just 1 day after officials have begun to investigate his investments through offshore accounts. The Chief Executive Officer of Eastern Europe's second largest lender will continue working at the bank as he has done for 40 years, until RBI makes a decision. The Vienna-based bank released a statement today saying he is offering to resign his position as CEO of Raiffeisen Bank International due to personal reasons. By 9:49 a.m. this morning, Raiffeisen had already fallen in Vienna trading by 3.2%. Moving on to Nissan. Nissan plans to recall over 800,000 cars after discovering the steering wheels were not assembled properly. This will affect over 133,000 models of the Nissan Micra in the UK, although Nissan has said that no accidents have been reported so far. This follows a recall earlier this year of 500,000 Nissan vehicles due to faulty airbags. And now Manchester United have arranged a new deal to cut huge debt costs which will reduce the amount of interest it pays. The change could save the Premier League club $10 million per year, which has eased concern over the club's financial stability. After the Glazer family bought Manchester United, in 2005, hundreds of millions of pounds worth of loans were taken out, and the club still has roughly £307 million in debt. Now Mario Draghi, President of the European Central Bank, has said he has spotted encouraging signs in the United Kingdom's economy. Speaking on a visit to London, Draghi said that he sees the encouraging signs of tangible improvement in the UK's economy. The ECB President recently cut Eurozone interest rates this month to an all-time low, with latest figures showing a shrinking effect on many Eurozone economies. This has been the Business News with Ragad Bazizi for CMS TV. Thank you.